Hi guys, and welcome back to Azur's Animal Kingdom, and today I'll be talking about crested gecko shedding. Now, if you don't already know, reptiles shed, and if you don't know what shedding is, it is basically when they're too big for their skin, so they either slide out like snakes and leave it behind, or eat it like chameleons, lizards, and geckos. So that's a pretty cool thing, right? Some reptiles eat it, some reptiles leave it. That rhymes. So another thing about shedding is that it is very human free. It is very independent, so you don't really have to have too much stress on the shed. It is a very stress free thing. So that's another thing. You will not be interfering with it. Let's hope not. So crested geckos, when they shed, they usually tend to have good sheds. And a good shed means that they have good calcium levels and that they're just healthy in general. Geckos will shed a lot, around 8-7 times a year. They shed a lot. Juveniles tend to shed a couple more times than adults, and babies the same amount as juveniles because they are still growing and they still haven't reached adulthood. Just like how you grow a lot more when you're a child and you grow a lot less when you're human. When you're an adult. That's the same thing with crested geckos. Now, an important thing about knowing about when crested geckos shed is that you do not want to interfere. You may open up the cage door or the cage top and take a few pictures, but you may not touch your gecko or anything it's on. That way, your gecko is very stress-free. They don't have to worry about you taking them because they are a victim. Crested geckos are prey animals and you are always going to be the predator. They are not like dogs where you are at one point not the predator anymore. You are always the predator. No matter how strong of a bond you are, you're always a predator. You're bigger than them and you can easily break their bones. Do not hold on to your gecko too tight. You're going to break their bones. And another thing is, I know this isn't very common, but sometimes shed gets stuck in their ears. Now, if you don't know too much about crested geckos, if anything gets stuck in their ears, you're going to want to book a vet appointment as soon as possible. I know that geckos tend to shed during the nighttime, so if you have that problem and you woke up to check on them, it's midnight and they have stuck shed in their ears and you're gonna have to wait till the morning, that's fine. But if it's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is very unusual, but if it is, you can book that vet appointment. Please book one with a reptile specialist. Now, I know that if you don't live in America where the reptile hobby is enormous, you will have trouble finding someone as a reptile specialist. If you don't tend to go to a dog or cat vet, go to a reptile vet. Because cat or dog vets, they will literally Google the reptile because they're not trained to be with geckos. They will do the same amount of harm that you would do because they don't know. They don't know. You don't know and they don't know. It's just the way it is. So that's another thing. Try to find a reptile specialist. Now, before you get your gecko, you should know the closest vet clinic by you that takes in reptiles because that is something you might want to research before you get your animal, because if the closest one is towns and towns away or cities away, you might not want to get a reptile because then you won't be able to treat it in case of emergencies. But that, again, is your opinion and your choice. Now back to shedding. When your gecko's a shed, you're going to want to leave alone. Leave alone. Leave alone. Leave them alone. I know I sound very angry about the leave them alone thing, but that is because people don't leave their geckos alone when they shed. It's just crazy. Would you like someone picking you up when you're taking a bath? And, just leave them alone. Okay? Leave them alone. Let them do it. Check on them in the morning. Now, if they have stuck shed, I will upload a video in the near future, let's hope, about how to take off stuck shed, because stuck shed is a pain. I had to take off stuck shed last Saturday and it was on the toes. Now I want you to know that stuck shed isn't really your problem. It could be your problem, depends, but usually it's not your problem. It's not your problem. It's not your it's not your fault. There. I have bad grammar. So, yeah, if your gecko does have stuck shed, it's very common. I used to think my gecko would never have stuck shed because she didn't have stuck shed for a very long time, and then she had stuck shed. Yeah. And just excuse me, but I have to. My gecko left this one day when she was shedding. This is what their skin looks like when they shed. I will put that near my camera. Focus on the stuck shed. See, and I can tell where it is because of this little, like, you know, the little, like, pattern that she has on her back. I will get her out if you want. So, yeah, geckos tend to have stuck shed a lot. And that is just another thing with geckos is stuck shed. Now, stuck shed's common. It's gonna happen. But I'm gonna show you what to do after your gecko's shed. So 24 hours after your gecko has shed, you're gonna open up their cage, right? And you're gonna go find them wherever they might be hiding. My gecko seems to hide a lot. And then you're gonna scoop them up. Yeah, you. There. Come. So you're gonna scoop up your gecko. And once they're done shedding 24 hours, you're gonna look them over. You're gonna be like, where could the stuck shed be? Now you're gonna tend to look for white spots on them because white spots are the places where they have stuck shed. And lastly, how do you tell if your gecko's going to shed? How to tell if your gecko's going to shed is if they haven't been taking food, like she wasn't taking worms, but she was drinking lots of water. And make sure to keep your gecko extremely hydrated. Every gecko will have its own signs of when it's about to shed. But if the signs are, and if your gecko doesn't shed after over a week after that, you might want to re-look into why that might be. But yeah, this girl had stuck shed on her 2 front legs' toes. Yes, very pretty girl. So yeah, that is it. If you would like to know more about crested geckos and other amazing animals, please subscribe. And if you like this video, please leave a like. And if you have anything to say, or if you think I didn't mention anything, or if you would like me to clarify myself on a topic, or if you would like me to talk about a topic, or if you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments below. And have a nice day. Bye.